Here he is on CNN, the people who fired him. He ran back to CNN after he gets fired again.
Interview. And it was tense at moments, but you've been involved in tense interviews. I said to him, I think it's good that people see folks like you and I who have different worldviews come together and talk, as he says, have free speech. Free speech is only important when someone you don't like, or I would say someone who doesn't have your same point of view, or someone is, if they're allowed to speak freely and to say their point of view. Apparently that doesn't matter to Elon Musk.
Listen, Don Lemon is the biggest fucking liar there ever was, right? Like, he did nothing but tout fucking he towed the line for the fucking the liberal establishment and the fucking for fucking Joe Biden and his whole fucking the whole disaster of COVID. Like, people remember how fucking awful Don Lemon was, right? Like, Don Lemon was terrible. And so, you know, free speech, I think, is one of those things that just that gets thrown around when it's convenient for a certain side, right? People really don't want to hear the other side of the story, right? They don't really want to see the dredges of the internet. I mean, like, when you go on to X, you will see some racist ass shit, some blatantly racist stuff, but for me personally, I feel like free speech should be an absolute situation. Like, we should just have access to free speech. Sorry if your feelings get hurt. Don't go there. Don't go to that website. Fuck you. Like, get the fuck out of here. Now, I do agree with you, Robbie, that Elon Musk is a baby and he doesn't like to be called out on shit. So,
and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform, that you wouldn't have to answer these questions.
Look at him get
from
pissed.
Reporters about the Great Replacement Theory as it relates to
don't
Democrats.
have to answer these questions.
The Great Replacement Theory as it relates to
I don't
Jewish
have to
people. Do you
answer
think that-
this question.
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think? Do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble, or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm
or that
criticized
there was-
constantly. I could care less.
Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to?
So that's I think that's a reasonable question from Don Lemon. I think that's a reasonable question. And Elon Musk doesn't like to be questioned. Billionaires don't like to be questioned. They're little kings that want to be told yes constantly. And as soon as fucking Don Lemon asked him about these very pressing issues that people do ask, Elon Musk said, "You're fired." Fuck you. Get out of here. Now, apparently, there was no actual contract with Don Lemon. So there was nothing that was where, because I guess Don Lemon's going to try to sue Elon Musk, but apparently there was no like real contracts with Elon Musk. So there's nothing really being done about it, but I don't know. I hate X, some awful shit, though. Lots of naked ladies. Yeah, there's what is this? What does this say? Don Lemon got filthy rich by condescently spewing disinformation constantly. In his head, he believes himself as the arbiter of truth. There's a massive disconnect, which I agree with. I agree. Don Lemon was a huge purveyor of misinformation, and he's just he was the worst. He was the worst. Absolutely terrible. What is this?
Here's number 5. And if this doesn't apply to you, if you're not doing this, then it doesn't apply. Male prison sex. The one with the really low pants, your underwear showing.
Oh, this is him talking. Oh, yeah. I remember this.
If you really want to fix the problem, here's just 5 things that you should think about doing.
5 things. That's
Here's number
it.
5. And if this doesn't apply to you, if you're not doing this, then it doesn't apply to you. I'm not talking about you. Here's number 5. Pull up your pants. Walking around with your ass and your underwear showing is not okay. In fact, it comes from prison when they take away belts from the prisoner so that they can't make a weapon. And then it evolved into which role a prisoner would have during male-on-male prison sex. The one with the really low pants is a submissive one. You get my point? Number 4 now.
Yeah, I get
is
your
the
point.
N-word.
You're gay. You're gay if you sag your pants. That's what you're saying, Don Lemon.
By promoting the use of that word when it's not germane to the conversation, Have you ever considered that you may just be perpetuating the stereotype the massa intended, acting like a nigger? Now, number 3, respect where you live. Start small by not dropping trash.
Don't be ghetto is what he's saying. Don Lemon says, don't be ghetto.
Our own communities. I've lived in several predominantly white neighborhoods in my life.
I bet.
I rarely, if ever, witness people littering. I live in Harlem now. It's an historically black neighborhood. Every single day I see adults and children dropping their trash on the ground when a garbage can is just feet away. Just being honest here. Number 2.
Just being honest.
Finish school. You want to break the cycle of poverty? Stop telling kids are acting white because they go to school or they speak proper English. A high school dropout makes on average $19,000 a year. A high school graduate makes $28,000 a year. A college graduate makes $51,000 a year. Over the course of a career, a college grad will make nearly $1 million more than a high school graduate. That's a lot of money. And number 1, and probably the most important, just because you can have a baby, it doesn't mean you should, especially without planning for one or getting married first. More than 72% of children in the African American community are born
from Don Lemon.
That means absent fathers. And the studies show that lack of a male role model is an express train right to prison. And the cycle continues.
Woo! Now, could Don Lemon do this again? I think this is from 2013. Yeah, this is 2013.
Because black people...
I don't know if Don Lemon could do that now. Don Lemon would be, he would have been fired a long time ago, or at least a couple of years earlier than he was. But what is this?
Senator, nobody asked you to be the editor of the president's Twitter feed, the one he has been permanently barred from.
No, I agree. And I don't disagree with Don Lemon. I'm just saying, like, where Don Lemon came from and then where he went towards the end of his career at CNN. He just became like the droid puppet that he spoke out against at one point in his career. It's just really interesting how far he fell into just pushing the narrative. Oh, let's see what Fox News has to say about it.
To be featured in his first interview. Watch.
So let's get into it. Are you under the influence of anything? You said you learned your lesson. What did you learn? So you don't consider that hate speech. What is the evidence? Do you know what the term woke actually means? You have any responsibility to the truth?
But Lemon says Musk canceled the deal because he was mad.
I thought the first person to interview, no brainer, Elon Musk, the man who calls himself a free speech absolutist. I asked him to do it. He willingly agreed to the interview. But apparently, free speech absolutism doesn't apply when it comes to questions about him from people like me.
Well, Don Lemon shit where he eat, but also Elon Musk is a little baby. I'm a big believer in education. Just wish it wasn't so expensive and cost prohibitive. Yeah. It should definitely just be free. Like there's so many of these countries that have free education, free healthcare. It's like these are things that you should remove out of the equation. Instead of sending fucking billions of dollars to proxy wars and trying to overthrow governments, maybe we should spend that money on fucking fixing our communities and giving people free education and giving them free healthcare. Maybe that would take the burden of cost and at least alleviate some of that pain to create more people who are educated, who are contributing to society, instead of like fucking like Don Lemon said. I would never ever in my life want that role.
What did we talk about? Why is he so upset? Does he even have a reason to be upset?
Now X is hitting back, saying in a statement, quote, "The Don Lemon Show is welcome to publish its content on X without censorship," but goes on to say, like any enterprise, we reserve the right to make decisions about our business partnerships. And Musk added in part, unfortunately, all Lemon wants to do is rehash the dying CNN business model, but on social media, which will do even worse here than it did on cable TV. Drop the mic, Cheryl Casoni.
Musk went on to say that he basically has, obviously, Jeff Zucker still in his ear, and he's the mouthpiece of the former head of CNN, Jeff Zucker, who, by the way, got fired. But look, you were sitting there with one of, I mean, look, sometimes Elon Musk and Bezos, they go back and forth on the richest person in the world. You know, Elon Musk is worth almost $200 billion. billion. And that's the interview you do with him? I mean, the guy's a genius in business. And I sat there, I watched the whole Don Lemon interview, and I saw missed opportunity. Plus, he just gave you a deal, and you're going to attack him on his own platform. Don Lemon, not the smartest move.
Yeah. Oh, Don. You really have the audacity to say, do you have any responsibility to the truth? You're Don Lemon. You help perpetuate the Russia conspiracy theory along with your patriots over there, compatriots, I should say, at CNN. I will say I've missed Don so much because outside of Gutfeld, he had the greatest comedy show on television. Though it was not intended to be comedy, I watched it and I laughed all night long because it was that.
Oh my God, that's funny. Whatever Blondie says, that shit is hilarious. Yes, Elon, free speech is crucial. Also, Elon, no, not that speech. Space Karen. Hello, 911. Stephen King won't give me $8. Space Karen. Oh shit, that is very funny. What is this? The View. Don Lemon speaks out after his partner. Oh, let's hear what he has to say on this.
Have you considered doing a show, he said, on this platform? Maybe worth a try. Audience is much bigger, said Elon Musk. But everyone knows how controversial Musk is. So I have to ask you, didn't you know this was going to end badly? He's, you know, Musk is not really... You know.
I went into this with my eyes.
Not really
open.
what?
This is just an old saying in the South, and they say, you knew I was a snake before you picked me up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a snake, but I'm just saying that it's relative to this. So I went into this with my eyes open, but truly, I went into it with the best of intentions. I heard your conversation just briefly about independence. I am an independent, regardless of what people think. You know, Elon Musk thinks I'm on the left or what have you. I'm an independent. I believe in free speech. I believe that people have the right to say whatever they want to say, but you suffer the consequences for it when you say it.
Right.
So I took them at their word. They courted me for months.
Yeah.
And when their new CEO came aboard, she courted me. Their management team courted me. They sweetened the deals with incentives. And I said that was the biggest and best place for me to launch a show. And because you know what's happening with television now and what have you, it's shrinking.
Yeah.
But I thought, why seed Twitter or X is one of the biggest social media platforms in the world, one of the biggest information platforms in the world. Why cede that platform to extremists? Yeah. So I wanted to get on there and I wanted to fight it out so everyone could have a voice.
Yeah, and they would bet.
Wait, hold on. What he just said was so contrary to what he said at the beginning. He said, I'm all about free speech. And then he said, he's asking Musk about why would you concede one of the biggest platforms in the world to extremists. And wait, okay, so you can't have I'm all about free speech, but not that free speech. I mean, it's the same thing that Elon was saying. And maybe after that interview with Don Lemon, he was just like, again, I mean, he did release that statement saying that Don Lemon's just trying to rehash the old CNN bullshit. Because right here, CNN, Don Lemon is basically fucking just contradicting himself just by saying, he's like, well, why concede it to extremists? First of all, it's not conceded to extremists. The platform isn't just full of fucking racists. I mean, it has a lot, but it's not just like, that's not all that's on there. It's a small portion of what's going on there. And what's really happening on there, at least for now, is that we're getting other perspectives that weren't allowed to be on that platform for a very long time until Musk came and took it over. I don't know if Musk is Lex Luthor or not, but there's something about him that I don't trust. And but I do appreciate that he did open back the doors, let Alex Jones back on the platform. In fact, Alex Jones puts his show on the platform now. So I do appreciate that. But there is that side of Elon Musk that has that little ego going on, and oh, fucking Elon, I'm not going to let Kanye on because he said something I didn't like, or, you know, I don't like that Alex Jones said this or that, or Don Lemon fucking questioned me. I don't like that. You know, like, that's some bitch shit. And that is some choosy, pick and choose, free speech type shit. So I don't know. And again, that doesn't mean that you can let everything on there, right? Like, we don't want to see a bunch of pedos on there. like fucking doing weird stuff to kids. That's not cool. Free spooge. Free spooge indeed. I fucking hate The View. Like,
Yeah.
They were.
I love
And you
Whoopi
did,
Goldberg,
even though a
but
lot of your friends told you were crazy.
Like you.
Thank you.
Like you.
I did too. But so Elon Musk famously claims to be a big proponent of free speech. He refers to himself as a free speech absolutist. He calls X the digital town square.
Yeah.
And he willingly agreed to this interview that you asked for. And said that there were no restrictions. So what exactly happened? What set him off? And then he sends what, this terse text to your agent saying, contract is canceled. What was your reaction?
The law doesn't really work like that.
you too, Robbie.
Go ahead.
All right,
Have fun, buddy.
We'll talk about that, because there's a lot going on about that. What happened? Really, look, I would say that is. That's a good question for Elon Musk, because he knows who Don Lemon is. He knew who I was. He asked me to come on the platform. He offered incentives and money. They agreed to a deal. They flew me out to Las Vegas to announce this at CES. They trotted me out in front of clients, in front of advertisers. I went to the X, the Twitter offices to do client meetings and to try to entice advertisers back to the platform. So I was a good soldier. I was doing my job. So what happened? I think it was just uncomfortable for him to sit in front of someone and actually have to answer questions, to be held accountable.
Right.
To really, instead of being in a friendly, usually for the most part, his interviews are with a friendly crowd.
Did he
Right.
not ever see you on television?
Yeah.
That's what I didn't understand. Yeah.
Yes, but I would be.
Well, he thought because he was
He thought he
paying
bought you.
you were supposed to kneel
He
at the
must
altar.
But that's not what journalists do.
Right.
I know that, but here's
And
another.
That's not what journalists do. I am done with this fucking guy. I am so fucking done with him. He is such a fucking turd. All right, guys, we're gonna call it a day. I gotta go and fucking do stuff and clean the bathroom before family comes over. So, love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We'll be back on Monday with some more news. Again, we have Grammy Award-winning composer Carla Patullo coming on the 25th. Pretty excited for that. So we'll stay tuned. More details will emerge as the time comes. But for now, I love you guys. Be good to your fellow human beings. And let's just HJ everybody. Everybody gets that HJ, baby. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.